This ruched dress tutorial is a request from one of our subscribers, Ihotu. Ihotu, this is for you. You are welcome to Sew John Case, and today we'll be using this pattern. This pattern was from our last previous tutorial that we did. It's a pattern with no darts because it was made for a stretchy dress, and the upper part of this dress is stretchy. So the neckline is 2.5 by 2.5 for front, and the back 2.5 by 1 inch for the back. And another amendment we did to the pattern was to share the pattern into two, back and front, and then added to the length, because for the previous tutorial we had a short dress, while for this tutorial we'll be making it into a long ruched dress. So please keep watching. Let us go on creating the magic. So here are laying flat. What we're going to do first is to just set the back aside so that we'll work with the front, because truth is, if you can work with the front, you would definitely have something to use for the back. So what I'm doing is I'm connecting my waist to my hip line. So if you don't know your hip line, it is your waist to the most protruding part of your hip bone, or the most protruding part of your butt. So just connect your waist to that hip line on a slant like you see me do. I did it for both front and I did it for both back. But don't forget, we can work with just the front pattern, and when it is time to cut, we make the necessary adjustment. For the back, we need zip allowance. So when we are cutting on our fabric, we'll just make those adjustments as necessary. That will be all for that. So once we are done with this slant, you see where it ended. That's exactly what we did. It was at the hip line that the basque ended. So this basque ruched dress is trendy, and it is not super easy, but it is something you can definitely try if you are an intermediate fashion student. So the next thing I'm marking here is I'm marking to the knee, because if you check our design properly, you see that the ruched actually ended on that knee line. It did not exceed the knee line. So we're going to try as much as possible to recreate this the most easy way for us. So as you watch right now, what I'm doing, I'm also doing the same for the back, but don't mind me. You can just focus on doing this on just the front or the back pattern, and when you are cutting your fabric on it, you are just going to make the necessary adjustments. So here I just measured 3. At this point, I'm just marking out 3 inches, and it is that 3 inches I'm just going to use to slant. See, you can actually just eyeball and do your slashes, because we're going to do slash and spread. This slash and spread allows us to have control over our fullness. So you can slash and spread as much as you like, or as much as you want. Like I said in other video, if you want to slash and spread, the number of lines doesn't matter as much as how much you spread. So if you are going to slash into 8 places and then spread it by 1 inch, and you are going to slash into 4 places and spread by 4 inches, that 4 inches will have more fullness. So you can number it the way you want. You can number it from the beginning, from the top part to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top part. Once you are done numbering your slash lines, you are going to bring in another bigger pattern paper. For this particular pattern drafting, I use about 2 to 3 pattern paper, so that because of the spread needs space. It needs space, and assuming we did the back as well, you see that you need more pattern. So I'm just slashing the lines. I'm just cutting out the lines that I marked, and then I'm going to spread it by 4 inches each. I'm going to spread it by 4 inches. So you are not going to spread it straight. So you are going to see that at the end, closer to me, I had to add extra paper so that I would properly spread it. We're going to be spreading it on a slant because it is a V shape. We don't want to have issue, so that by the time we finish spreading our paper, our slashes will have room enough. By the time we finish gathering our pattern, we'll have room enough to fit into where it's supposed to fit. So that's just what I did. I created a straight line from the down point to the upper part, and then for the side, I just try as much as possible to connect all of the pattern in a smooth curve, not any other way. Just try as much as possible to have a smooth curve, and you will be okay, so that by the time you finish gathering this front part, that back part will just create a form of a cascade, and at the same time it will not be tight on you. So that's just the trill there. For this particular pattern, if you look at it very closely, you will see that the dress has a side joining. It is not one of those cow dress or ruched dresses that doesn't have side joining, that just come from the back all the way, create the no. It has a side joining, then it has a back zipper at the back, so you can really see that this pattern will work. I've not tried it, but I know it will work. So once we're done with that, we're going to create the collar on the neckline. So if you haven't done collar before, this is a great opportunity to just learn it. The trick is I join my pattern together at the shoulder line, and I just measured the neckline. Adding zipper allowance. That's if I want the zipper to get to the collar, but if I don't want it to, I will still need an allowance for button, or I can just do a button and a loop. So now after measuring, I got 15. So the 15, once I'll measure 15 on a straight line, and then add 1 inch allowance, sewing allowance or zipper allowance, or you had your length of allowance for the dress to the collar. So if you added 1 inch zipper allowance to the collar, so you are going to be adding 1 inch on the left hand side and 1 inch on the right hand side, making 2 inches. So let's work with our 15 inches. So after measuring out that 15 inches plus this allowance, I just cut it out. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark from this other side where I'm marking. The folded part is the center front. The folded part is the center front. Is not like your normal shirt collar where you have the opening in front. The opening is going to be at the back. So from the down part, you just measure 1 inch up. Once you measure 1 inch up, I'm going to measure out the allowance that I took, and then mark the 3 inches for the back, because when I was measuring, I took note of my back measurement. So my back measurement was 3 inches. So from there, I just curved the collar to the 1 inch, and that was that for the bottom. Don't forget, this first part that we're marking is the bottom. Then the next thing is to measure my collar width. So you can use 1 inch, you can use 1.5. So for this tutorial, I just use 1.5. This 1.5 doesn't include the sewing allowance. When you are cutting out your pattern, you are going to add the necessary allowance. So as you saw me doing, at each point I just marked that 1.5 inch. I didn't just mark 1.5 and just drew a straight line. I just kept marking 1.5 for each point, and then I join all the points together and I just smoothing out all of my edges, because I wouldn't want any sharp edges on my collar pattern. So basically this will work for our collar. We can create other dimensions to this collar, but this will just work. So finally we're done with the collar. You cut your sleeve. It's a simple long sleeve. You won't have any problem there. I'm rooting for you. So I'm just organizing my pattern. If you came along this far, please, and you haven't subscribed, try as much as possible to subscribe. We have very wonderful videos, tutorial on our channel that will make your sewing journey a fun filled learning experience. So we'll be in the comment section to hear your contributions and all of your praises, because I am sure that this was a great tutorial. So please do well to share this video with your friends, and wait for the part 2. It is going to be a bomb, you trust me. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, share. Bye.